everything I read about Islam is so true. It's like nothing to deny. Whatever I read that it actually tells me things, that, it's like the answer is all there, it's like I read, it's like, wow, it's so true, everything is so true. It's like, how can it be not true, Sure. So then I was so excited about this religion. It's all about the mercy from Allah.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ketemu lagi di channel Agama Entertainment, channelnya tentang video Islam dan juga kisah mualaf. Sebelum mulai, jangan lupa untuk like dan juga subscribe ya. Tanpa panjang lebar, ayo kita saksikan.
Assalamualaikum.
Salam. Thank you for taking the time to be out with me today. How was your life from before you became a Muslim?
Actually, the funny part is I live in Malaysia. My primary school was all Chinese school, so that means there's no exposure to Malays or Muslims. Then I went to a secondary school in Damansara, which predominantly was 99% Chinese again. And then there's maybe a few Malays only. And even then, I don't even know them, when I was in secondary school. Then thereafter, I went to a Jesuit university in US. And of course, it's a Jesuit university. You don't get any Muslims there again. So that's how I look back in my life. If it wasn't the hidayah I get from Allah, I can never be a Muslim. So
how was your behavior before you became Muslim? Was it any different than now?
Of course, once I become Muslim, a lot of things have to start changing, things that I learned, how I respect my parents. I cannot even raise my voice, I even told my mom, just look at me, before Islam, I'm always raising my voice, getting angry. Then when after I became Muslim, I learned that I even raise my voice. So since I became Muslim, never ever, raise my voice. That's the one of the best quality I learned from Islam.
Respect your parents.
Yes. I never say to people that, yeah, I'm the God, but deep down inside, that's God is there.
Really?
Yeah. It's a fitra thing. I think even how many people today they admit that we don't believe in God, but somehow or other, like what I went through, the same thing. It's inside deep down. There's something that you feel there's the presence of God.
So before this, would you say that you denied the existence of God before you became Muslim?
Yeah, I mean, with arrogance, I guess, but again, deep down inside, deep down inside, God. Even you utter such blasphemous word like there's no God, I am God, that kind of thing.
Wow.
But deep down inside, it's like, did I say something wrong? That kind of thing. Yeah. It's like I think it's a fitra that Allah put in their heart that even how I mean, most people I feel are the arrogance. They feel that they're high and mighty, but they know deep down inside God is there.
Okay, how did you discover Islam?
Okay, as I mentioned earlier on, I have really minimal or almost zero contact with Muslims. When prior for me to convert to Islam, one of my friends brought me to temples actually in Thailand. Then brought me to this different Buddhist temples, and tell me this is God. So I was wondering, my heart started moving. I was like, hey, is this really God?
Wow.
So I was like, should I start believing in God? So I actually went back to the apartment and I was in the balcony. I was looking up the sky. I was asking God, who are you? Please tell me. I want to worship you. Are you the four-face, the eight-face, the elephant face? Of course, at that time, I didn't ask, are you Allah? Because that would be the last thing I would ever ask. So I was just sitting down there for 2 hours, actually, asking God, please tell me who you are. I guess after that incident, 6 months, I lived my life, For 34 years of my life, I never experienced, I never been with a Muslim, I never really talked to them or know any of them. But within 6 months, Allah has shown me so many signs, one after another, that I just, you tell me just one sign, then it might be some superstitious, but Allah, in the whole 6 months, it's like a dream, I didn't even realize, to the day that when Allah started, after the questioning, then Allah sent a lot of hidayah, a lot of different signs that pointing me to Islam. Then at the 6th month, I even bought a Wudu book that I had a friend of mine, Dato in Suraban, which he passed away already, and he was like one of the maybe 2 Muslim friends that I know that had to drive all the way to Suraban and tell him, hey, I want to do Mashahada with you,
Okay, may I know what was the science? Can you just give probably a few few examples. What was the signs actually?
Actually, it's actually for me that 6 months is like a dream. I can't even pinpoint what are the signs that's like, you know, the heart is feeling Islam, seeing things. I'm saying things like, let's do what we do best, let God do the rest. But, you know, slowly things like creeping in me. I really,
Like what?
honestly,
You cannot describe it with words.
I cannot describe words. It's just that experience, that many different experiments that came to me that I feel that, you know, that Islam was the religion. Then this friend of mine, which is in Surabaya, he actually gave me a Quran translation, Yusuf, the translation English. So I started reading it. And wow, everything I read about Islam is so true. You know, it's like nothing can deny whatever I read. You know.
You were not exposed to Islam before this, right? So when you read some materials on Islam, what made you so sure that that is the truth for you?
But as I said, maybe this is the hidayah from Allah, just opening up.
When you read, you
all
just
my
feel that it
senses.
makes
Yes,
sense.
It makes sense. I read that it makes sense. That I read that it actually tells me things. You know that, you know, it's like the answer is all there. You know, it's like I read, it's like, wow, it's so true. Everything is so true. It's like how can it be not true? You know,
Sure.
So then I was so excited about this religion. You know, it's all about the mercy from Allah. It's the hidayah. Yeah, and there it's
Guidance from
guidance from
Allah.
Allah. It's what you ask for. You know, I ask for guidance. So when the time comes, you know, when say, oh man, I have to be a Muslim, I can't eat the things that I used to eat. I have to wake up 5 o'clock in the morning to pray, and then so many things that I have to like, you know, but you know, I took the leap of faith, you know, and I had no looking back after that. Alhamdulillah, I mean, this is the best religion, and I feel, you know, after being a Muslim, everything opens up. You know, before being a Muslim, everything you see is just about dunya. You have nothing in life, you know.
What is that one thing about Islam that attracted you until you were so certain that I have to embrace Islam today?
It's the truth.
It's the truth. For you, it's the truth, right?
For me, it's just when I see it's the truth. You know, I guess it's Allah opened my heart, my eyes to see Islam. You know, maybe, you know, Allah knows that at age of 34, I'm ready. You know, before that, you know, I'm just a usual, you know, party goer. You know,
Oh, okay.
Every Friday, Saturday, I'll be in clubbing, you know, and things like
Okay.
that. So you know, maybe, you know, Allah knows that, okay, it's time, you know,
Right.
for you to come back to Islam. You know, so at the age of 34, Allah, you know, I started the question, you know, it's just like what the saying is, like when you approach Allah, you know, falling, Allah will come to you. So that's how when I started asking. So I feel if you are sincere and you really ask for God, you know, any prayer, I think at the end of the day, I mean, that's how I feel. If you ask, Allah
As
will
long as
give.
you're sincere.
I mean, even if you're not sincere, sometimes Allah will give. You know, Allah is all giver. So I feel, I mean, but if you're sincere to ask what you have, you know, Allah will give it to you. And I asked who God is, and Allah gave me Islam. You know, like, as I said, in my wildest dream, I never ever thought of becoming a Muslim.
How did it feel after you recite the Shahada?
I still remember I was in front of my little friend. The both of us like started tearing, you know. And
wow.
It's like, you know, I mean, that's how I feel. The most sincere that who say the Shahada, immediately you feel a sense of relief, like, wow, it's like, you know, you accepted what it. And I remember the first time I ever put my head
On the ground.
down on the ground.
How did it feel?
It was like, you know, how small and how little. And you know, it tear, you know, I just cried when I was down there. That was my very first time I put my head down.
What's your favorite part in Ramadan?
I feel like I feel very God conscious during this month. I feel that Ramadan gives, like Allah always every year gives us some kind of renewal, iman test kind of thing. That I feel, you know, is that every year, you know, if you have your iman is still okay, you check, you know, then Ramadan month is alright. So I feel Ramadan month is a test of our iman, you know.
It's an opportunity for you to renew your faith.
Yeah, to renew our faith, you know, to be more God conscious.
Thank you, Brian, for taking the time to share.
Nah, sepertilah kisahnya. Bagaimana kan kisahnya ini sangat menginspirasi kita bahwa kita itu sebagai umat muslim, dengan adanya video ini kita itu menjadi terinspirasi bahwa kita itu bisa lebih baik lagi untuk menjadi seorang pribadi muslim yang lebih baik lagi. Dan dengan video ini juga mungkin kalian juga yang mungkin non muslim ya, yang menyaksikan ini kan juga mungkin ada gambaran seperti apa bahwa agama Kristen itu tidak selalu misalnya benar ya, karena banyak juga kontradiksi di sini bahwa agama Kristen, agama non Islam misalnya gitu ya, jika orang-orang mereka itu mualaf itu karena apa, kebanyakan itu mereka itu tahu bahwa Islam itu adalah agama yang benar, agama yang lebih masuk akal daripada agama-agama lainnya. Dari mana kita itu bisa tahu hal itu ya, karena kita mempelajari Al-Quran dan pelajari agama Islam gitu. Kita itu harus terbuka, harus berpikir terbuka, harus maksudnya kita itu harus mencerminkan bahwa kita itu sebenarnya itu Indonesia itu emang toleransi ya, tapi ketika kita dihadapkan dengan sesuatu agama gitu ya, kita harus mengkaji misalnya agama Kristen seperti ini, agama Hindu seperti ini, agama Islam juga seperti ini, dan berbeda-beda ya, karena di Indonesia itu banyak banyak sekali agama ya, tapi kebanyakan di channel ini adalah tentang agama dari non muslim ke muslim, dikarenakan agama Islam adalah agama yang paling sempurna di dunia ini. Sampai akhir zaman pun Al-Quran itu berkata bahwa Allah itu akan menjaga Al-Quran sampai hari akhir. Nah, semoga yang menonton video ini bisa terinspirasi ya, dan semakin kuat lagi imannya, terutama agama Islam ya. Dan jika yang nonton adalah non muslim juga, kalian cobalah untuk berpikiran terbuka dan seperti apakah Islam dan sebagainya. Jangan sampai kita itu banyak kan ada seperti Islamofobia dan sebagainya, tidak suka kerudung, tidak suka pengajian, tidak suka apapun yang padahal kan kita menjalankan agamanya masing-masing. Bagi kalian yang belum subscribe juga ya, silakan itu subscribe dan juga like dan juga komentar ya, agar kita itu bisa bersilaturahmi. Agar kita itu, karena di kolom komentar ini ya, di channel ini kebanyakan itu agama muslim dan non muslim itu suka ada ya, dan suka ada yang membalas dan sebagainya. Dan jika kalian suka, jangan lupa untuk like, comment, dan subscribe ya, dan nantikan video saya selanjutnya. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.